Hey everyone, welcome back to the layout. The Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for a special cab ride video. Basically 4 trips across scenic portions of the layout. It's been a while since I've done a cab ride video, and I've been getting a lot of requests for them the last week or two with the new scenery going in, so I thought I would take some time and do a cab ride video. Now last night I did a live video showing a behind the scenes look at how the videos are actually put together, and unfortunately this is the results. Not very good at all. 2 big problems. One is the camera was set too low. You can see the top of the gondola there at the bottom of the view. And the other thing is that I got the view a little cattywampus. It's kind of tilted counterclockwise. Now that actually could have been fixed, the counterclockwise tilt, but the bottom there with the gondola showing, definitely not something that's acceptable. It's also, the view is, as you can see, is a little bit lower. Doesn't look like you're in the cab. So I repositioned the camera here. Now here I have the camera facing a locomotive, and you can see the middle of the camera there is at the same height as the top of the nose of the locomotive. Now obviously I had the camera pointed the other way when we were actually shooting, but I used this to kind of figure out exactly where it should go. Now before we actually get to the cab ride videos, I want to let everybody know that I'm having some things for sale. You can see the URL for the site to go pick up some things. I have a lot of coal cars, Athearn bathtub gondolas. I have some Walther's double crossovers. I have some long runners. I even have a locomotive. My SD70M just didn't fit the era of the layout that I have here. Now the link is also in the description, so you don't have to type all that out. So if you're interested in picking up some things, I have some HO stuff from the layout that I have now, and also still some things left from my N-scale layout. So if you want to take a look at those, pretty good prices and free shipping if you spend over $100. All right, this is the new and improved cab ride video, and we are basically going to be taking 2 trips, one in each direction on the lower level from Evanston, which is where we are right now, down to the bottom of the Wasatch Grade, and be able to see, even though this isn't scenic right here, I wanted to include it because it shows the backdrop. And as you can see, part of the backdrop's kind of hanging off of the wall there. I have to fix that. And these trees here I have just temporarily. When I get this scenic and ballast, I will put some scale trees in there. But you can kind of get an idea of how the backdrop looks from the cab ride. Something that you do, of course, see on a cab ride video is all the lighting and bench work from the upper level when the trains go under the upper level. Now, when you're standing trackside at the layout, you won't see that. You notice I have some of these tracks need to be straightened out. After I put the track down initially, sometimes they get bumped when I'm working on different parts of the layout. You can see there on that curve, I definitely had bumped that. Have to take a look at that. Definitely try to straighten them out before we go and put on some ballast. All right, so here's the part I just most recently ballasted. And you can see how everything looks with the backdrops. Now the backdrops look best when you're looking at them straight on. So the view from the cab right here, you're looking down the line, you're actually looking at an angle, which when it's just mountains sides and so forth, it looks fine. But if you have buildings with angles or roads and so forth, they kind of look a little funky. looking down the line looks definitely better if you're looking straight on. I think it still looks pretty good though. We have an oncoming manifest train that we're meeting here. One thing I noticed while doing this cab ride video is I need to clean a lot of the ballast off the top of the ties. And it looks like I still even need some nail heads to remove. You really can't, it doesn't look like there's a ton of ballast on top of the ties when you're standing trackside by the layout. But when you get this down the track view here, from the cab ride view, every bit of ballast on top of the rails, on top of the ties, I just say, definitely shows up. So I will at some point in time, when I get all the basic scenery done and basic ballasting done, I do plan to go back and do some weathering of the ballast, especially like have the inside between the rails a little bit darker from the trains rolling over it and so forth. So definitely going to be doing some weathering on the ballast at some point in time. That will be when I take my second trip around the layout and do some detailing and so forth. So anyway, when I do that weathering, I'll also take a chisel of some sort and get all that extra ballast off the top. I actually tried to do some of that a little bit today, and it's pretty easy to do. Looks like I need to vacuum some ground foam off of that track there. But anyway, it is pretty easy to do, but I'm not going to take time to do it until I get all the scenery done. That's my main goal right now. It's getting the basic scenery and the basic ballast down. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing later down the line is also putting the sleeves in these tunnels. I know a lot of people are bothered by it. I actually think it looks pretty cool. I still need to finish this bridge, also putting up the handrails and ballasting the track. Now for concrete ties, it's pretty common to have some ballast in the middle, so I'm not too worried about the ballast that's in the middle here. But there's still a lot that can be cleaned off on the outside of the rails and so forth. But overall, I think the scene looks great. The backdrops definitely helped. This is a pretty cool look going through here with the train coming in the other direction. That photo backdrop of Castle Rock together with the actual modeled portion of Castle Rock. I think that works out together very nicely. I'm really happy with the way the backdrop photos blended well with the scenery. All right, here we are at the end of the scenic portion. So that was from Evanston, the east side of Evanston, all the way down to the bottom of the Wasatch Grade. Now here we are still at the bottom of the Wasatch Grade, but that's Emory, by the way, that control point behind us. And now we're going up in the other direction, the direction we just came from. And again, you can take a look at the backdrops and how they blend in. There's also a little valley there to the right of this tunnel. There's going to be a trailer house that's actually on the prototype. There's also a hillside that has some junk cars, like a little mini junkyard on the side of a hill out in the country. So I'm going to put that in right in this area, actually on the other side of this little fill, as we come up to the Curvo with a coal train being pulled down the Wasatch Grade as we go under the tunnel, or under the bridge and into the tunnel. You can see the coal train still up. Gives you an idea of the separation of grade, which is one thing that really intrigued me about the Evanston sub. The way the two main lines went different routes and would run close to each other but at different elevations and then come back to the same elevations, both at the bottom of the grade and also at the summit at Wasatch. So here you can see us coming back together with the other main line. One thing I'm going to do also when I do the detail scenery and so forth is I'm going to use a black wash of some sort on these red cuts. I think it would look really a lot better if there was some relief, some black in the crevices and so forth to indicate some shadows. So it wouldn't have such a consistent red color, but have the if I put a black wash on there that would kind of go into the crevices, would kind of bring out the detail. I think that's going to make a big difference on the look of the red cuts. That's a UTLX repair facility to the right. And then we come up to the most recently scenic area between UTLX and the Evanston Yard. The track to the right, which is at a little bit lower elevation, is the drill track for the yard switcher. And we have another oncoming train, and another manifest. See the engine facilities. I think the backdrop of photos definitely look pretty good. This is a bunch of buildings, but I still think it looks pretty good. Here you can see that part of the photo backdrop that I need to seal up a little bit better. And again, those trees will be replaced by realistic scale trees. That's the Evanston station, the Evanston UP offices, maintenance away facilities, equipment. And then we come to the eastern edge of Evanston. You can see the train that we passed over on the Evanston grade. Pretty cool. All right, now we're up on the upper level, and we're coming from West Vaco and heading eastbound towards Green River. This track up here, this was not the easiest track to do because it was up high and kind of a long reach. Not the easiest track to ballast. This has even more ballast that needs to be removed from the top of the ties. I'm not sure, that's going to be pretty far down on my list of things that need to be done as we approach a train. Again, trackside, it looks fine, mainly because it's at you're looking pretty much at eye level at it. You really can't look down at it like you can from a cab view. But eventually, I think I'll also weather this track and deal with the ballast a little bit at some point in time. The telephone lines look pretty cool, I think. This is only 10 inches wide. I think it Works out pretty good. Here you can see Evanston below. And we are ready to go ahead and head into the helix. And again, we're coming down in the other direction, coming out of the helix. Heading westbound now towards Westvaco. So you can see, if you look at the backdrop, it actually all looks pretty good, but at certain angles it just kind of looks a little weird. If you see something that's more horizontal to your eyes, it definitely looks a lot better. The telephone lines look really cool from this track. We're closer to the telephone poles on this track, and it looks like I didn't realize it, but the line's almost overhead there on the curve. So you get kind of a good look to see how close the lines come to the track and how close they come to the trees too. So there you have them, pretty close to the trees there, but not in the trees yet. Like one of the lines might be in the trees there as we meet a stack train here. They're honking at each other or tooting their horns at each other. All right, so that's what the cab ride video looks like on November 30th, 2023. Hope you enjoyed this video watching trains from trackside from the cab. Hope it was enjoyable for you. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I hope you have a good weekend coming up. Take care, everybody.